All right, well, we call to order the November 25th meeting of the Board of Appeals. I think we have, well, we at least have one new member of the board, so welcome Sheila Morgan Johnson. Also, is Joe Volk on right now? Joe, are you on?
Oh, wait a minute, he's just popped in the waiting room.
Okay.
Wait a minute, give me 1 second to get
Oh,
in.
there you go. Joe, you with us?
Yes, how y'all doing?
Great, how are you?
Doing well, thank you.
Thanks for joining. Welcome to the board.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here.
So we've got a pretty brief agenda tonight. Was there any general business we need to attend to, Stacy, before we get to the two items on the agenda?
No, the only thing I wanted to tell the new members is I'm going to send you some training requirements from the Maryland Department of Planning. It's some online course that you're required to take as board members. So I'll send that information out to you tomorrow.
Great. You copy me on those emails?
Absolutely. Yes.
Thank you.
I'll copy the whole board on them.
Okay. Okay, so we'll get started. We just got two items on the agenda. The first one's a vacation rental special exception for 3917 8th Street. The proponent is James Regan. Is Mr. Regan on the Zoom call right now?
He is
Or
not.
representative?
I'm here as his representative.
Okay. Would you just have a brief presentation for the board to tell us what you're planning to do with the property and why you need a special exception?
Yes, so we just wanted to use it as an Airbnb for the next 10 months while he's still being relocated with the military in Texas. His mom had been living in the property prior to, she passed about a year ago. So it's just supplemental income until he can get back into Maryland.
Okay, and I'm sorry, what was your name and your relationship to the?
My name is Heather Hall and I'm the property manager.
Oh, okay. Okay. So before I have some standard questions I have to ask you that I ask anybody who's requesting a vacation rental. Before I do that, I just want to see if any of the board members had any questions for Ms. Hall.
This is the first time that you're applying for the license, is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Cool, thank you.
And you said the vacation rental would just be for 10 months?
Correct.
Mhm. What if the time extended beyond that, Chair? What's the procedure?
Say that again, I'm sorry.
No, I'm asking the chair.
Oh, okay.
So, these exceptions last for a year. She could simply apply for another one next year or after the expiration date. I mean, presumably this would be granted for a year and she could renew it after that if she's so desired. Or the property owner could.
Thank you.
So Ms. Hall, I just have several questions. Just answer them to your best of your ability. And they're just yes, no questions for you to answer. Okay, so will granted the special exception for this property be detrimental to or endanger the public health, safety, or general welfare?
No,
Will granted the special exception be harmonious in character with other properties in the neighborhood?
yes,
Will granted the special exception substantially diminish and impair property values within the neighborhood?
no,
Will granted the special exception impede the normal and orderly development and improvement of the surrounding properties?
will it impede it? No,
Are there adequate utilities, access, drainage, and necessary facilities for the property?
yes,
Will pedestrian and vehicle traffic associated with the property be hazardous to or conflict with the existing traffic in the neighborhood?
no,
Okay, and does the property conform to the applicable regulations of the district in which it's located?
it does.
Okay, great. It looks like, I guess Rick went through the property recently. Looks like there
Yes.
were no issues with the inspection that need to follow up on. Doesn't look like it.
No, there was not.
Okay. Okay, any other questions from the board?
I just have one question about the parking. It says that there are 4 on-site parking spaces. Just based on the photos, I just didn't see where those were. Is there like a pad or something in front of the home, or What's
There
the-
is a driveway, yes.
Okay, there's a driveway. All right,
Yes, and we
great.
park 4 cars in it all the time.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yes. Mhm.
Okay, any other questions from the board for Ms. Hall? Okay, so thanks for your answers, Ms. Hall.
Thank you.
I'm going to open it up for the public to comment and ask questions. I just say raise your hand if you have any questions or comments to enter into the record. Indicate your name and address, your relationship to the property, and try and keep your comments brief, please. So anybody have any comments or questions for the Ms. Hall? Anybody from the public interested? Okay. Not hearing anybody or seeing any hands in the air. We'll shift to discussion of the proposal. Any concerns or problems that the board might have about approving this request?
Looks like a standard variance to me. She's got good parking, which Keith's already checked.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other comments? Seems like everything's in order with the property, it seems.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no letters in the record or anything, Stacy, that have been received by town?
Nothing's been received.
Okay. All right, anybody care to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the special exception for short-term rental for property at 3917 8th Street.
I second
Okay,
that.
we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? So I'm sorry, Sheila, did you vote? I didn't notice if you
I
did.
did. Aye. Aye.
Okay, just
Sorry.
wanted to check. Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, the ayes have it. Congratulations, Ms. Hall.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for showing up, and we'll move on to the next thing, which is a variance for 9108 Chesapeake Avenue. Sorry, I'm trying to get up my document here. Give me 1 second. Okay. It's a variance request for 9108 Chesapeake Avenue. Property owner is Grayson Enterprises. They're requesting side yard setback reduction from 8 feet on one side. It says from 5 feet on one side to 2.5, and 5 feet on one side to 3 feet on the south side. Is somebody here in the audience from representing Grayson Enterprises?
Yes, this is Debbie Rule, I'm the contractor. I'm here at the town, because I couldn't read that it was Zoom.
Okay, it's fine. It works. You just want to briefly tell us what you're trying to do and why you need a variance?
Yeah, so we are proposing a 3-story apartment building, very similar to that was previously approved just to the south on lot 8. And we tore down an existing house that was condemned there, that has the same side setbacks as what we're requesting currently. So it's basically trying to fit this thing on this 25-foot lot.
Okay. So the property that was torn down, how wide was it?
The house
Yes.
is the same width, 19.5.
Okay. And how long ago was it torn down? It was very recent, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, June, I think.
Okay, so Rick, just real briefly, I thought in a situation like this, it wasn't necessarily required to get a variance. Is that not the case?
So this is going from a single family to a multifamily.
Right.
You guys, we previously had a legal review done on three-story apartment that was approved to the south of this building. There were no setbacks listed for multifamily in our use table, and the legal review stated that they would be determined to go with the same as the residential. That's why they're requiring the setback variances.
Okay, thank you for that.
And this project basically mirrors the one to the left of it.
Sure.
With parking setbacks, setback requirements are almost identical to what was previously approved for the lot to the south.
Okay, thank you. Sorry to make you talk.
No, you're good. And I should have some other notes in the staff report that
Oh, okay. We'll take a look at those. So, okay, go ahead, Joe. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I didn't say anything.
Okay, I thought you were saying something. Okay, so Ms. Riddle, do you have any other thing you wanted to mention about this before we discussed it?
No, I'm just open to any questions.
Okay, do any of the board members have any questions for Ms. Riddle? No? Okay,
So I do, so
okay, good.
Jess Clark. So the setback request is on the north side versus on the side of the property adjoining its own self. Right, because on the south side property is owned by, I'm assuming, the same person if you're building the same structure.
No, it's not owned by the same person.
So you're just building two of the same structures directly next to each other.
They're similar, yes.
Okay. And is there a reason the variance was requested on the north side versus the south side? Because I mean, right now, the one to the south is really close to the Raffets next to it.
Mm-hmm.
That is not our property. That was previously approved by the board. Ours is 9108, the one that's vacant now. So the one that adjoins Josh's property is 3 feet. So we'll have 6 feet between the apartment buildings. And there'll be 2.5 feet between our proposed building and the adjoining Airbnb to the north.
Normus, right, is to the north.
Yes.
Okay, any other questions for Ms. Riddle?
I guess to explain, so the 3 feet on our south side is 3 feet because that's the access to the stairwell for the property. So you need at least a minimum of 3 feet walkway for egress on one side of that building. And that's why it's on the south side.
Okay. So both the stairwell from one side and the other will be next to each other and have the room in between.
Exactly. We are trying to work together to make sure, everything's kind of the same elevation and looks well together.
So Ms. Riddle, just so I'm clear, there's no common ownership in these two properties that are,
Correct.
okay. Okay, any other board member questions for the proponent? Okay, so we'll open it up for public comments or questions. Again, please announce your name and address, your relationship to the property, and keep your comments brief. Do we have anybody with their hand up, Stacy?
Oh, Jim, if I could, I'd just like to make a comment.
Sure.
So I'm actually on the Board of Appeals now as an alternate. So I'm joining tonight, taking that hat off and kind of just putting the hat on as their neighbor. So I own the property of 9106 Chesapeake Avenue, which is right next door to the south.
Okay,
So my just general comment would be that I am in support of the project. We're working together to make sure that, you know, the setbacks are going to look as seamless as possible. Make it look like they're supposed to be there and one building wasn't an afterthought, if that makes sense. And I'd also say that all the projects that I have seen the owner do here in the beach have all turned out very well. They're very good at what they do. So I'd just like to express my support.
okay, thanks for the input, Josh. And for the information. Okay, any other members of the public? Okay, quiet crowd tonight. Everybody's getting ready for the game, I guess. So, okay, so how about a discussion of the board members? What are folks thinking about this? Oh,
Question, if a new board member, is there any requirement for the rear yard setback? I
so
didn't know.
standard residential setbacks in the rear are 20 feet,
Mm-hmm.
but
We
this is
meet-
commercial.
We meet both the front and rear setbacks for a residential unit.
Yeah,
Thank you.
there
Thank-
was an additional note in the documents on this one from was it the planning commission from that says that they meet on the front and back setbacks. Stacy, oh, you might not have gotten it. Stacy had included in the Zoom reminder. That's where it was. I was
it's
just
no-
looking for it.
Yeah, it's a staff report dated November 25th. Would adhere to the setbacks outlined for use. This would require 10-foot front yard and 5-foot side yard setbacks. Proposed project meets the requirements for front yard and for the offsite parking. Does not meet the requirements for side yard setbacks.
Yeah, I just didn't see any reference to rear yard. That's why I raised the question.
Sure. Actually, Josh, can I ask you a quick question?
Yes, sir.
Just curious, what is the width of your building?
It's the same 19 and a half.
It is, okay. That's,
Yeah.
I just want to see if that was the case. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, so board members, it's you know, my general feeling is we've got very clear guidance as to what we've done in a similar case before, and same zoning areas, you know, it's right next door. It seems pretty clear cut, but anybody have any concerns or?
I would like to note on the last one, I actually voted no and against that. Because I really do believe that maintaining 3 feet on both sides of a property is the minimum variance for what looks right houses right next to each other. So I don't think it says clear cut because I did not agree with the last rule.
Understood.
I would like to lift up based on what I've been seeing lately. I think 3 feet is probably my minimum as well in my head. I think it's something less than that is really, really close.
Okay. Any other board members have anything they want to enter into the record?
Nothing for the discussion. I mean, I understand what everyone is saying. but I do believe that they do great work as well. And I would motion to approve.
Okay,
Jim, could I ask a quick question,
sure.
just for my clarity?
Go ahead.
Is it my understanding that within the CM zone, the zone that we're discussing now, that there's no setback requirement for commercial properties? Is that correct?
Right, so commercial use can go to 0 setback.
Right. So if they were, just hypothetically, if they were to add a commercial use, that would eliminate the need for any variance on the setback.
I believe that to be the case, yes.
Yeah, just for the sake of discussion, that's why in my mind, this project is different than just a normal residential zone. I would completely agree on the 3 feet for a residential zone, but this is a CM zone, so you know, you're gonna have properties that don't have any setback at all within the CM zone because that's what's allowed.
So Rick, does the CM zone automatically approve 0 feet? Or is it does it go through the planning and the planning determines that? So is CM zone automatically 0?
All right, sorry, I couldn't get my microphone to work. No, it's not.
Okay, I'm sorry making you talk again.
That's okay. It's not automatically 0, but it is approvable up to 0. So there is no standard. There isn't a setback that says it, 1 feet and you must have a variance for anything less than that. They're allowed to approve up to the property line.
But just to be clear, that is for commercial use.
Yes.
Right.
So it's up to the planning commission then on what that is.
Correct.
Okay, so we have 2 board members that are, I'll say, seemingly opposed to the request. We have Joe, you're in favor. Sheila, you care to enter your opinion on the matter?
Well, other projects of this type, what decision has been rendered? What has been the decision of the Board of Appeals?
Well, we did approve the property next door,
Okay,
but it was not unanimous approval.
okay. So there's no consistency.
Approved.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly don't have recollection of all the commercial properties that have requested variances, but I mean, certainly other residential properties that have requested similar variances. We've typically allowed, and I'm talking single family here, but for other single family requests for 25-foot wide lots, we've typically allowed 19 or even 19.5-foot buildings to be constructed on them.
So is this commercial or is it a commercial mixed property?
Neither, it's a multi-residential.
Multifamily residential.
Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me.
Yeah, and hence the discussion about how they're supposed to follow the residential setbacks.
So
We
it's
often
residential.
grant
Okay.
a residential setback to 3 feet. And
But
then I
keep in mind
think that in
that-
the future, the
setback
goal is
is-
to have that 3 feet as non-variable.
Mm-hmm.
Say that again, Rick?
But it's different in the CM zone. It's not the same 8 foot as it is in the R1 zone. So that's why a reduction from 5 feet, not from 8 feet.
Right, so, I mean, just so the board members know where I'm coming from. I generally am of the belief that, 2.5 feet on 25-foot wide lots is reasonable, just so they can get a reasonable, 20-foot wide property that you can actually make use of the property.
Mhm.
But we're talking a matter of inches here. So does anybody want to make a motion of any sort? So clearly, we've got differing views on the board.
I would motion to approve.
Okay, so just to be clear, I'll tell you what. If I can get the right document up, I will make a motion. Or Joe, we can work through a motion together and see what happens. Sorry. Bear with me.
Mhm.
Okay. So let me make a motion and we'll see what happens with that. So I move to approve the reduction in setback, the 2.5 feet on the north side and 3 feet on the south side. Both of them reduced from the required 5-foot setback on the sides of the property.
Mhm.
I second
That's my,
that. Yes.
okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Jessica and Cassie,
Kisa,
Kesey, I'm sorry. Kesey, you voted no?
I voted no. I opposed.
All right, the ayes have it. Congratulations, Ms. Riddle. Please let your folks know. And
Yep,
thanks for coming.
thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Okay. All right. Any other things we need to tend to tonight?
I do not have anything else. I'll know by the 1st of December if we will have a meeting in December, which for the new members, we try to have the 4th Monday of each month.
Okay, and so you think we would realistically have a meeting that week?
Yeah, no, we probably will not.
Okay.
I try to
So-
have all the cases in by the 1st of each month, but knock
And
on
maybe
wood.
if we get a few and we need to meet soon, we can do it the early part of January.
Yeah, that sounds good. I'll
Okay.
be in touch.
Great, thank you. All right, I move to adjourn.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thanks all for coming.
Thanks. Have a good
Thanks, everybody.
Thanksgiving.
Aye.
Two.
Too.
Aye.